Hi, my name is Stephanie and I'm 17.
My name is Anna Johnson and I am 18 years old. I do use social media, mostly Instagram, sometimes Snapchat.
Of course I use social media, but the only platform I use is Instagram.
I don't have a favorite Instagram that I follow, but I do follow a few YouTubers, a few influencers, lots of artists, accounts like surrounding positivity.
That's really hard to decide, but I definitely love to follow artists on Instagram. I think that body image is portrayed as having to be one specific thing, and especially for young girls, that can lead to a lot of insecurity.
I think body image can be portrayed in a lot of different ways on social media. I think on the one hand, there are a lot of body positive accounts that are inclusive and diverse, but then I think there are also a lot of accounts that are the complete opposite, that promote one standard of beauty or the expectation. Although social media gives people a platform for body positivity, for people to speak out against societal expectations about appearance, ultimately social media does more harm than good and continues to perpetuate negative body image and negative societal standards about appearance. Social media has the power to shape societal norms and persuade people to look, think, and act in an unrealistic way.
I love iWeigh. It's this body neutrality account founded by Jamila Jamil. A Guardian article defines body neutrality as the idea that women's bodies just shouldn't be commented on at all. The account empowers its audience to be happy with who they are, no matter what they look like.
I've never seen this account before. At first glance, it looks like some of the positive motivational accounts that I actually follow, because the posts just on the cover of it are really like bright and like happy colors. My first thought is that all of the women are in their underwear, naked, but not like completely. My second thought is that this post is probably to showcase the diversity of these women and the idea that, women shouldn't have to hide or cover up their appearance. There's diversity in their skin color. A few of the women appear to have birthmarks. There's diversity in their hair color, hairstyle, length. There's diversity in body type and height. There's also a woman with a disability because she doesn't have a leg, and another woman has a pouch on her stomach. I believe it's called an ostomy pouch. My second thought is that all the women in this image, or all the people in this image, are women, which is awesome. Let's look at the caption really quick. It seems like this post is part of a female empowerment shoot. I think the fact that, it says Power Women. We love this female empowerment shoot by Amber Magazine, or I'm assuming magazine, with all proceeds going to Bloody Good Period. More of this, please. And then it has hashtags. So I think the fact that, first off, I think the fact that Power Women and more of this please are in capital letters, even the emojis, the little explosion emoji, the clapping hands, which I would like to point out are also inclusive, diverse, are inclusive of race, and then the star-eyed emoji, they all give like the sense that whoever wrote this caption is really passionate about the subject, and obviously wants whoever's reading it to be passionate about it as well, it being female empowerment and inclusivity.
It is really empowering to see these women standing all together and smiling. The image emphasizes the insignificance of their body type, skin color, and their age. These women are proudly standing together, even though they don't have societally expected body types. Because this post is on Instagram, it does contrast what you normally see in your feed, like models and fit tea advertisements. This image proves that its opposites are making us see women as unworthy if they don't look like those airbrushed bikini models. This whole post strongly contrasts the standard language of mass media surrounding what women look like. Women are commonly attacked on social media, especially just for being themselves. But even the hashtags on this picture inspire women. Hashtags like #self-love and #realbodies contrast the usual hashtags that encourage self-hatred and the admiration of unrealistic body types.
I would say that this isn't normally what you'd see on social media. At least when I scroll through, that's not something I would typically see. But I feel like I'd like to point out that I feel like that's the point. Like I feel like, looking at the hashtags, real bodies, #real bodies matter, and #representation, emphasize that these are real bodies of real people in our world, and yet they're not seen. Like they're not seen when people are scrolling through their Discover page. And yet they are real people, and their stories and their feelings and their perspectives matter. But in advertisements on social media, the bodies of these women, like the ones in this post, are not shown, especially in a beautiful, positive, accepting light.
When people's lives are in danger, companies have to step in. iWeigh has done some incredible work ensuring that this is true. They managed to guarantee that nobody under the age of 16 receives any form of advertisement regarding weight loss supplements on Facebook and any of its associated platforms. Posts like this show women that it is okay to be proud of who they are and what they look like. It diminishes the societal expectation of what women should look like and accepts people for who they are instead. The people who see this post can start believing in themselves more and can perceive themselves as stronger and more worthy individuals.
Posts like this can show women that there isn't and there shouldn't be just one way to look in order to be beautiful, in order to have your picture taken, or be in a photo shoot, or be in a magazine. Posts like this spread a message of inclusivity, and oftentimes, like, we don't get to see that in a world where, Barbie is what we're supposed to look like. This white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes and really tall and really thin, and so this strays from that norm, which I think is really great. Posts like this are powerful because they go against these societal expectations so greatly. They're radical in the sense that they are just so open and so passionate about embracing diversity and calling and making sure that's being seen as something beautiful rather than something to cover up. I think that posts like this are the ones that should be circulated around social media because they have more potential to create change and to make people more accepting of their bodies and our differences.
I've never seen this account before, but from the obviously photoshopped, unhealthy looking profile picture, I understand that this account is the opposite of iWeigh. This account is designed to perpetuate the standard of beauty for women. It glorifies these women who all look similar and does not show any people who look different at all.
Looking at this account, I feel like I've seen it before, maybe? I think I have on my like Discover page. You click on one picture of a girl in a bikini for some reason because you're feeling self-conscious or something, and then you go down a rabbit hole. I think it's basically, at face value, it looks just like an account about pretty and maybe fit girls showing off their bodies, or at least that's how I read it. I'm like, man, this girl's body is unreal. Like, she has a really tiny waist and a perfectly round butt. Her skin is flawless, and her hair is super long and wavy and looks like luscious. The background of the image is really strange though. Like, it appears like either she's blurred it out, like she's at the beach and she's just like decided, oh, I'm just gonna make it so you can't see the beach and just see me, or she photoshopped the background in. Yeah, it's weird.
The caption simply says, "Great work, Cece," and mentions the model in the image. It is fairly obvious that this image is photoshopped and airbrushed. To say that this is great work insinuates that this is something you can work towards. It makes women feel like if they just worked out more, starved themselves more, or changed more about themselves, then they would finally do good and look good. But they're chasing a goal like this, which isn't even a raw photo.
This post definitely does look like something I would normally see on social media. I've seen a lot of accounts, and I follow a few accounts where girls and guys alike will just post their faces. Like, they'll post selfies, or they'll post like full body shots of them out and about in some beautiful place. I think oftentimes to like show themselves off or to receive praise or what have you. Looking at it, I'm like something that I've always hated about Instagram is right in this image. So, right, you have a picture of like a woman who looks like Barbie, and then the first thing you see at the bottom of like the caption are all of the hashtags, like hashtag fitness, hashtag gym, hashtag fit, hashtag workout, hashtag, and then hashtag motivation. Like, what does this photo imply about a woman working really hard at the gym? How is showing off your perfect figure, that also happens to be completely unnatural and unattainable for many women, how is that supposed to be motivating? No, like, if anything, it makes you feel bad about your own body.
Before this kind of fitness mentality, we had women starving themselves to achieve a thin aesthetic that was glamorized by media like magazines and tabloids. Now, hidden under the mask of health and fitness, women are overworking themselves and undernourishing to try to achieve bodies that are created only with plastic surgery and Photoshop.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that this is outright like body negativity. I think this post like creates and promotes a standard for how women like think they should look, and it's a toxic standard, right? Because once again, it's often unrealistic and unachievable, unattainable. I think this post is different than those accounts that promote body negativity, like fat shaming accounts and stuff, because this account is somewhat like less, this account is like less directly encouraging women to change themselves rather than accepting their differences and the things that make them beautiful. But fat shaming accounts, it's like, it's obviously like we hate women that look this specific way. But either way, both fat shaming accounts and accounts like this are creating negative feelings about body types that don't look like the women on the fit account. So if you aren't meeting this standard, then you should aim to, because you need to change something about yourself. I think the worst thing that I've seen on social media is when people hate on others in the comment section of accounts like I Weigh that promote body positivity. Like the accounts that give people of color a voice, and highlight the beauty of those who are different from the from societal expectations or standards or whatnot. It's really sad, I think, when people can't, at the minimum, have respect for others and instead feel like they have to attack others.
Definitely Photoshop. It is incredibly frustrating for people to be completely changing their body types and giving themselves inhuman proportions. Posts like this make women believe that this is what they should look like and that can just be achieved with diet and exercise.
First off, I want to say that we don't actually know for sure if this picture is photoshopped. I say this because despite the fact that she has a really tiny waist and really smooth skin and this like perfect hourglass figure, we can't ask her like the woman in this picture or the photographer of this picture if it's been photoshopped or edited or if she's had plastic surgery. We don't know. If it is photoshopped, right, this relates to the power of social media and its ability to promote a body standard. I know I've said this before, that is completely unrealistic for so many people. Social media is a platform where you can know as much or as little as about a person as they're willing to share. So if someone curates a post about them looking flawless and calls it fitness and nothing more, no Photoshop, no mention of plastic surgery or anything, editing, anything, then we as the viewers are forced to accept the idea or at least the possibility that this is how she really looks and she achieved that look through, fitness and working out. Social media creates this environment where we don't know what's real. We're constantly told that we can achieve like these body standards by way of like going to the gym or exercising, when in reality those body standards cannot be achieved by going to the gym or working out alone. It's those other things, the Photoshop, the plastic surgery that people don't mention. Social media creates an outlet for accounts like this that claim to be fitness oriented, when in reality they're promoting the accounts of other like pretty women, and the idea that women should be motivated to look this specific way rather than accepting and appreciating our differences, and accepting our bodies for exactly the way they are.
Absolutely. My generation has grown up seeing these perfect women everywhere you turn. I grew up staring at my screens, and the expectation of what I should have looked like followed me everywhere. Because of social media surrounding me, there was no way to ignore the standard perpetuated by the platforms. Social media popularizes one specific norm. Skinny but strong women with large butts and big boobs have become incredibly popular, while women with natural proportions or extra weight are called ugly and are told that they need to change. What is popular suddenly becomes the expectation, and because humans are desperate to please, we want approval from people on the internet. Therefore, we decide to conform to the popular standard. We then perceive this standard as what is good and everything else is bad.
Social media creates this constant feeling like you have to compare yourself to others, you have to compare your follower count, you have to compare your lifestyle. Am I traveling? Do I live this luxurious life like these other people seem to have on social media? It creates so much comparison between appearances and looks, or how much money someone has, etc. And that's kind of a mindset that carries into the real world. It carries into our real lives. I think beyond that, to add on to that, social media is so sugar-coated that oftentimes it's no longer reality. Those are just like snippets of the best parts of someone's life. Does that make it does that make it real life? No. Only the highlight reel. If something's only a highlight reel, that's just the highlights. That's not all the other bits and pieces in between. So I think after spending long periods on social media, long periods of time, it can be jarring to go back to the real world, to real life, where things aren't always like butterflies and roses.
Even though we have an illusion that we curate what we see, the reality is that an algorithm shows us what is most popular. And sadly, the most popular thing perpetuates unrealistic standards of women. Even if you constantly posted body positive content, that does not affect what you see at all. I think social media is just as important as people say it is. Having a standard for what you're supposed to look like in your pocket to stare at every time you're bored forces you to be constantly insecure.
I think it's naive to say that social media doesn't and isn't having a huge impact on this next generation. It's a platform that we share, that we communicate on every day, that we comment on. The very fact of how much people are constantly using it, should be enough evidence that social media has an impact or is going to have an impact on our expectations for life, for love, for our bodies.
At the end of the day, social media does way more harm than good. The number of people gaining popularity who fit the skinny mold largely outnumber than people celebrating realistic bodies. The impression that women have to look a certain way has been drilled into the minds of so many girls all around the world. Sadly, the bad outweighs the good. And you could try to filter out the bad, but it's almost impossible to ignore.
I think if somehow negative comments, harassment, body shaming, the popularization of specific body types and standards, through advertisement or accounts, if all of that stuff could be taken down, then social media would be a lot safer, a lot healthier place. I think if accounts like I Weigh, if there were a lot more of that kind of account, a lot more of accounts that spread positivity and love and encouragement, then social media could be a place that does more good than harm. But that's not the case. And I think for now, I'd say, just follow accounts that make you happy. Don't spend a ton of time on social media. Acknowledge when you're looking at an account you follow and you're feeling bad about yourself. Maybe that's not an account you should follow. Flag and report accounts that you find disrespectful. Always spread positivity and love and acceptance and encouragement rather than hate. I think that's the best way to navigate social media.